Welcome to Heroes on Our Island. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Christine Persichetti. Every week, we bring you inspirational stories of Long Islanders who are making a difference in their communities. On today's show, From Our Hearts to Your Toes. The dynamic duo who collects and donates costumes to dancers in need. Plus, the Dominic Murray Memorial Foundation, a mom who turned her inconsolable grief over losing her only son into action. And Wit Walk, an annual event that raises money and awareness of pediatric cancers. That's all coming up on Heroes on Our Island. We begin today in Melville, where we are surrounded by tutus and sequins. Hundreds of donated dance costumes collected by two sisters who spent years taking the stage, who want to help dancers who are less fortunate do the same. This is From Our Hearts to Your Toes. Allie and Amanda Milberg have been dancing for years.
So basically, dance has always been a part of my life. I couldn't imagine not doing it.
Amanda first took the stage at the age of 2. The now 19-year-old is still dancing her heart out.
I danced 3 times a week when I was in high school and now twice a week when I'm in college. So it was my form of exercise, but also my other family, my way to escape.
Allie says it's a good form of therapy.
It's such an expression of emotion. Like, it's such a good therapy for kids. They don't need to use their words. They don't need to talk to anyone. They just listen to the music, get in the studio, and just like release whatever's on their mind.
The Melville sisters have even danced in a number of competitions. They have the trophies and the costumes to prove it.
I would dance in anywhere between 12 to 14 dances a year.
For each dance, they bought a new costume.
We would huddle over my dance teacher, like, which one? She'd be like, this is an option, this is an option. She'd be like, I like that one, I like that one. Like, everyone had their own vision of what the dance costume was gonna be. Was it gonna be multicolored? Was it gonna be a dress? Was it gonna be pants? Did you have a hat to wear with it? Were there accessories? Like, everything that just went into it made the dance on the stage that much better.
Amanda says putting the costume on immediately put her in the zone and gave her so much confidence.
Whether it was, like I said, a costume that was completely bedazzled from head to toe, or just a shirt that my teacher got at a store nearby, it still, to me, gave me the same significance. It made me feel something different. It was like, okay, I'm ready to perform. This was my final piece to make me feel like a complete dancer.
But year after year, dance after dance, those costumes started to pile up and collect dust in the back of their closets.
Over 16 years, 10 dances a season, times that by X amount, and we realized that we could really do something with these costumes.
And they're not cheap, ranging in price from $60 to $100 for each getup. So in 2011, the girls decided to start their own charity, From Our Hearts to Your Toes, and started collecting gently used costumes and donating them to dancers who needed them.
It never crossed my mind that a costume didn't come with a dance. When I first signed up for dance, I got a costume at the end of the year. I had a recital, I was in a costume. It never crossed my mind that kids would practice all this time and perform in their regular dance clothes.
So they brought together the people who don't have costumes with those who want to get rid of them. And the donations came pouring in.
I never, ever thought we'd have like a dance store in our basement with the amount of shoes that we have, like a shoe, we call it like the shoe pantry. Like, I never realized, and I never realized the recipients would be this many.
From the Glen Cove Boys and Girls Club to the Fresh Air Fund to the Grace Arts Dance Program in Virginia, these happy dancers are decked out in costumes provided by From Our Hearts to Your Toes.
And there's nothing better than seeing a child in the costume that you wore with all those memories that you have, and then seeing them create those new memories, get so excited, and just watching it just travel from child to child to child to child.
So they're constantly sorting the donated costumes.
We started really organizing them by size, by type of dance, by age, by length. So if you want a longer costume, a shorter costume.
And they invite dance teachers to come to their home to hand-pick the items they need.
So the people who want to come and get the costumes, if they're locally, we really like them to come downstairs, because we first of all love to see their faces when they see how much they're able to take and what they're able to take. But They also know their dancers so well. Oh, she would look good in that. Oh, her body type is this, so she would love this. Or her shoe size is this. Oh, when they're in this formation, the girl in the front should wear pink and the other. They know their dancers the best and their dance.
And it's not just costumes they get to choose.
11.5.
There are piles of shoes and accessories available. And if they can't come in person, the girls will choose the items and ship them or deliver them themselves.
The first thing they do is just hug us. They don't even, I would think they'd rip open the bag and be like, what'd you bring us this time? But it's like a hug, they just love that someone cared about them enough to give them this special thing that makes them feel like a professional too, just like I felt.
Sometimes they're invited to the recitals.
You can see while they're performing too, they'll do an extra twirl, or they'll look down at their shoes and be like, my ballet shoes are on, like something that makes you feel like a dancer that these kids just didn't have before.
The walls of their basement are covered with thank you notes from the young dancers.
Thank you for the costumes. You help us so much. The lyrical costume that I got makes me feel bright. The contemporary costumes are so cool.
A lot of these organizations that we donate to are local. They're on Long Island. They're our neighbors. They're in New York City, which is not that far away. These are people that are literally sharing the same streets as us. There's no reason why they shouldn't be in a dance costume just as much as we should be in a dance costume.
So the curtain will not come down on this charity.
It's definitely going to continue on because as time goes on, we notice more and more people reaching out.
The girls have donated thousands of costumes to dance studios across Long Island and around the Northeast. Up next. A broken heart leads to thousands of heart screenings. Our Kevin Vesey has this mom's story.
Students learning and carry it forth with them, more lives can be saved. There's thousands of more lifesavers out there.
And later, walking in memory of Whitney and in honor of all children fighting cancer. You're watching Heroes on Our Island. Welcome back to Heroes on Our Island. I'm Christine Persichetti. Our next story takes us to Greenvale, where a group of young basketball players were learning CPR. This life-saving lesson was made possible by a grieving mom who made it her mission to create awareness of sudden cardiac arrest. Our Kevin Vesey tells us about the foundation she started after losing her only son.
This is Dominic Murray, a 17-year-old who always touched the lives of everyone around him.
Dominic had a smile that would light up a room whenever he entered. And he had an infectious smile. So when he smiled, the whole room would just get bright.
He was a great student and a star on the basketball court, eventually landing a coveted spot on the Farmingdale State College team.
He played with heart and passion. And some days he wouldn't get off the bench. But he never gave up. He had such a passion for the game.
Dominic was just 7 weeks into his college career when he and some friends decided to play a pickup game of 5-on-5. Everything seemed just fine until all of a sudden.
He attempted a routine layup, and right after attempting that layup, he took 3 steps and he collapsed.
Out of nowhere, Dominic started gasping for air while his body went into what appeared to be a seizure. He was unresponsive and had no pulse, and his friends had no idea what to do. Dominic's mother, Melinda, still remembers getting a call from one of those friends moments after her son went down.
He said Dominic had fainted, but I couldn't understand, well, how could Dominic faint? What could possibly be going on? And he did not faint. He had actually collapsed. He was experiencing a sudden cardiac arrest.
Once help arrived, Dominic was rushed to the hospital, but precious time ticked away on that basketball court. And on October 5th, 2009, this young man who was so full of life suddenly and shockingly was gone.
Dominic left his heart on the court that day.
As it turns out, Dominic had been born with a heart defect, a structural abnormality that was never detected, even in rigorous sports physicals. So since his death, Melinda Murray embarked on a mission to help prevent others from suffering her only child's fate.
Early detection, which was a critical factor that may have saved Dominic's life, one component. was not available for Dominic.
Less than a year after that deadly game of basketball, Melinda started the Dominic A. Murray 21 Memorial Foundation, the number 21 being her son's jersey number. The goal? Teach CPR to as many people as possible, so if a student athlete collapses on the court or the field, his or her teammates and coaches will immediately know what to do.
So with both of your hands, you're going to tap firmly on both shoulders and you can say, "Are you okay?"
And it seems to be working. Melinda spent an afternoon with these teenage basketball players, and they quickly picked up vital life-saving skills.
I learned how to take action when you see somebody collapsing on the floor.
I learned that I can save a person's life by helping them with CPR.
When the kids learn CPR, Melinda creatively uses the Bee Gees' hit song Stayin' Alive to keep the beat, a surefire way to make sure they remember just what to do in an emergency. Along with CPR, they're taught how to recognize sudden cardiac arrest and use automated external defibrillators, otherwise known as AEDs. So far, more than 6,000 people have gone through Melinda's training program.
It's making a difference because children learning, students learning will carry that information to other students. And if they learn it at a young age, if they learn it while they're in middle school and high school and carry it forth with them, more lives can be saved. There's thousands of more lifesavers out there.
But it's not enough to just help someone who's suffering from cardiac arrest. Melinda and her team aim to find ticking time bombs before they go off. That's why they offer free screening to children and young adults through her partnership with St. Francis Hospital and doctors like Sean Levchuk.
We do EKG and echocardiogram evaluations on each of them, and I spend some time talking with them afterwards. So they get a real thorough once-over, so that when they get back out in the field, they're in good shape.
More than 2,000 people have been screened through the years, and so far doctors have found 61 cardiac issues, potentially saving the lives of those who had no idea they were even at risk.
I think they're very effective. In terms of it's effective, we'll see it. If it's there, we got it. You know, do we find a lot? We find some, but if you find one, it's worth it.
And as more athletes learn these potentially life-saving skills, Melinda knows that her son Dominic, who had so much talent and promise, is looking on, proud of what his mother has accomplished, and knowing that his name and number will not be forgotten.
We still feel his smile, and we still touch his heart, and his legacy will live on, and he will save many lives, and he continues to save lives every day.
There's no words that you could ever describe to point out just how strong a woman she is, but just how focused and driven to be able to come and sit there and take that, this thing of losing a child, and all of a sudden now has said, I'm not going to crawl in the cave and be sorrowful. I'm going to do something that's going to make a lasting impression.
I will never forget Dominic, but I always remember that he taught me so much, and he taught me to be the person that I am now, and what I do to carry forth in his name, and I think he's teaching so many others through his life and what he was about.
She is a hero because not many people are strong enough to do what she's doing right now.
She's my hero. She is my hero.
What do you think he would say to you?
Thanks for finishing the game for me, Mom. That's what he would say.
To date, the foundation has taught more than 6,000 people how to perform CPR and use an AED. Now it's time for the Honor Roll, where we feature everyday heroes, people who don't always get recognized for what they do or have done. Today, we honor Larry Scott, the founder and creative director of Lawrence Scott Events, an event planning firm in Hicksville. We're told Larry supports more than 30 Long Island or New York-based charities where he donates goods and services in excess of $1 million annually. Most recently, Larry was honored by a local chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation at its annual gala for his 25 years of support. In addition to monetary donations, he's donated the decor for the gala every year. This year's gala raised more than $1.4 million, and it was the first and only time the event sold out in 32 years. We're told Larry's commitment to philanthropy and giving back has been a cornerstone of his business since he started in 1989. So for his generosity, Larry is now on our honor roll. If you know someone who should be on the honor roll, let us know. Visit our website at fios1newsli.com. Follow us on Twitter at HeroesLI and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Heroes Long Island. Coming up after the break, the Wit Wit Walk to raise money for the Wit Wit Fund and the little girl who inspired it all. That's next on Heroes on Our Island. Welcome back to Heroes on Our Island. I'm your host, Christine Persichetti. Now let's head to Huntington Bay, where we hear Whitney's story. The little girl's life was short but meaningful. She passed away at the age of 1, but her family has kept her memory alive by raising money in her name to research childhood cancers. Her laugh is contagious. Her little dance moves make you smile.
She came here only to be an angel, and that's all she was. She couldn't have been real. She barely cried.
Video after video, picture after picture, all show little Whitney Pasilico smiling brightly.
She looked totally normal, and no one knew she was dying.
But she was. Tracy and Paul Pasilico found out when their baby was just 6 weeks old. She had a mass in her kidney.
They told us it was the worst diagnosis we could have gotten, and that she had to immediately start chemotherapy.
Whitney was diagnosed with rhabdoid, one of the most aggressive forms of pediatric cancer. Even with chemo, she was only given a 20% chance of survival.
Every day is a struggle. You play everything through your head. You know, she was only 6 weeks old, so do you want to give chemotherapy to a 6-week-old? So, you know, we contemplated everything. We thought about not doing it because it just seemed inhumane almost. But in the end, we rationalized and realized that you had to try and do something.
The Huntington Bay couple says their baby girl was the youngest patient by far at the hospital undergoing chemo.
But every day we arrived together, and all of us, and she would smile, make everyone smile. They nicknamed her the rock star because she never seemed like anything would faze her. And she was very strong, very happy. We were all very happy. We all just believed that was the only way we could go about it. We just knew she would be okay.
And she seemed okay. After 8 or 9 months of treatment, she was still their smiling, happy baby.
She was completely happy. Yes, she was. She looked skinnier. She didn't have hair, but she very rarely was down. Maybe because she didn't know what was going on, and she couldn't think about those type of things that she just was going through day to day, and she was literally one of the happiest babies you could imagine.
Then doctors found a brain tumor.
That day was tough. When they just told you that there was no more hope, when you believed for so long.
That's when they decided to try Eastern medicine. They took little Whitney to Beijing, China. They were there for 3 weeks. When they came home, they threw a big first birthday party for her.
It was special. There were people that came from all over the world to be with her, and they got to spend time with her and see who they had been praying for so long.
Shortly after Whitney passed away, Tracy says in order to heal, her family decided to help others.
We had talked to Sloan Kettering about doing research for pediatric cancers, and they thought it was a great idea. And we started the Wit Wit Walk for her to celebrate her birthday.
So every September, Whitney's birthday month, which is also National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, the Pasilicos and their friends gather at Comset State Park in Lloyd Harbor to raise awareness of pediatric cancers and money for research, because Tracy says there's not enough.
For every dollar that's given for public funding for cancer, 4 cents is given to pediatrics. So we just don't think, us cancer moms, we just don't think our kids are worth only 4 cents.
They walk in Whitney's name, and everything they raise goes to the Whit Fund at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center.
At Sloan Kettering, the Whit Fund researches tumor cancers for pediatrics. So right now, they have done some research on FDA-approved drugs that are currently showing that it's potentially making an effect and killing cancer.
So far, the Whit Fund has raised more than 150 grand.
As horrible as everything was, we're still blessed, and we have each other. We now have 2 more children. So you can either sit back and do nothing and, you know, complain about life, or you can move on and continue. And it doesn't mean you forget about who you had before, but you move on and you continue to try and help other people.
He's so happy.
Now it's little Leo's smiles and his big sister Avery's dance moves that keep the Basilicos laughing. And Whitney's memory is alive and well among their little family.
It's funny, there are 2 of them, but yet there really is a family of 3 children. They know Whitney very well, and I think it's very special that she is absolutely in their lives every day.
If you'd like to donate or take part in the annual walk that's held in September, you can head to our Facebook page. We have all the information there for you. And if you'd like to learn more about the heroes we just featured, or if you know a hero in your community, let us know. Visit our website at fios1newsli.com. Follow us on Twitter at HeroesLI, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Heroes Long Island. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thanks for watching Heroes on Our Island.